Live from Santa Monica, California. It is a show that is reflecting today on my mother, and her birthday would have been today, and she would have been, I will not say her age because she'll come up from the grave and smack me across the face. And also, the Suzanne Morphew case has escalated. Obviously, remains have been found. It's making the rounds in the news cycle. Let's talk about it. I'm Collier Landry. This is Moving Past Trauma. Let's get into it.
Testimony continued today in the most notorious criminal trial in...
When I was 12 years old, my testimony sent my father to prison for murdering my mother. This podcast serves as a type of therapy and reconciliation for myself, and it is my hope that it helps anyone who has experienced deception, betrayal, and dark trauma. I'm Collier Landry, and this is Moving Past Trauma.
Mover Nation, what's going on? Happy Thursday thoughts. I hope everyone can hear me just fine. We had some technical difficulties yesterday, and so I'm hoping everyone can hear me because that was a real bummer. I then spent the following hour after the show literally on the chat with the company, and they're like, oh yeah, the browser, it stopped working. We had a glitch in our software. So it perhaps is my fault because I used the software, but there was a lot of glitchiness yesterday with the StreamYard software. So I've tried to fix the the previous recording, but I figured it out at least, and that's all that matters. And it says I'm cutting it out, and there's cracking sounds. You've got to be kidding me. I give up. This is because I have to use Google Chrome instead of Firefox because it's not working. And oy vey. Let's see. It probably is not your speakers. It was crackling yesterday using Chrome as well. I'm gonna try another route. I'll be right back with this. Let me see if I can't get out of this. It can never go off without a hitch, can it? Oy vey. So, I'm hoping this works. How is the cracking going? Oh, we shall see if this has gotten any better. Yep, I'm going to leave this, and I'm going to be right here. All right, Mover Nation, how are we doing with the cracking? Yeah, so StreamYard software always works through Firefox, which is the browser that I use. Now I tried to use, they told me use Chrome. And I said to him yesterday, it's causing audio problems. Who knows? At least we figured it out. I won't be able to share anything because the sound is not working on Firefox. That was what was happening yesterday with us watching that Taylor Swift business. But yeah, here we are. Oh, it's a chaotic day. So it is my mother's birthday. This is a wonderful photo that I keep on my desk. And as all of you know, if you know my story, if you've been following my story, she is the raison d'etre. Why I'm here, why I do what this all started with her. So, I'm very, very lucky, but there is not a day that goes by that I don't think about her. And, I was lucky for the very brief time that I had her in my life. So I'm very grateful for that. But yeah, it's a tough day to say the least. I was going through this Suzanne Morphew case, and I'm going to start devoting more time. Well, actually, since I have all you here, my captive audience, what would you guys like to see from this channel? Because a few of you have reached out and said, would you cover some more cases? I have sort of strayed away from doing that. But I feel like the demand is there with you guys for me to weigh in on my opinion of someone who is an extreme trauma survivor and who has obviously been thrown into the world of true crime. And I am curious what you guys would like to hear from me. And by the way, thank you all for the birthday wishes for her. She is the reason we are all here, right? How old was I in that picture? I was probably 4 or 5. 4, probably. I'm trying to think when I had my long hair. Long curly hair. Yes, it is a very beautiful pic. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Cynthia Ann. And fabulous, there's no cracking. I love it. Lori and Chad Daybell have 3 more trials and many survivors of trauma. Lori and Chad Daybell have 3 more trials coming. I mean, that's so insane to me. Take care of Maya, says Dr. MLS. I actually might be bringing on a guest to talk about that. Thank you so much, Catherine Billinghurst. Yes, it is a special day indeed, for sure. And Black Widow, yes, I mean, I get to know her for a short time, but she obviously made a lasting impression on her son. So I'm pretty grateful for that, for sure. Your thoughts and views on other cases are always so insightful. Would be great to hear more. Well, thank you, Susie Rocks. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Hi, Sob None. There's nothing like a mother's love for her little ones. Yes, absolutely. Chad had not been tried. Chad Daybell. Yes, Kathleen Welsh, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My mother's love radiates in and out. Your mother's love radiates in and out of you. A mother's love never dies. Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you so much. Yes, this Suzanne Morphew, and I'll tell you what hit me the hardest. So I'm sure a lot of you know a lot more about this case than I do. But as of last week, Suzanne Morphew, so there were remains that were found in Colorado. Suzanne Morphew had gone missing in 2020 on Mother's Day, which I think was like May 11th or something of 2020. She went off for a bike ride. She never returned. In 2021, I believe, fall of 2021, her husband, Barry, was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. Now, it's super weird because, a lot of people, they had not found a body yet is the whole thing. And a lot of people question in law enforcement, like, how can somebody be arrested on murder charges when there isn't a body? Well, obviously, Anna Walsh's husband has also been arrested and charged, and there is no body as well. And that happened obviously at the beginning of the year. I talked about it a little bit, and we'll revisit that case as well. So I was doing research on this, and so Barry Morphew was arrested, and he was released in April of 2022 because they hadn't found a body, but he was released without prejudice, which means that they can always arrest him. And I know that this has brought in a lot of people have brought up like double jeopardy in this case. Now, to be clear, in some of the comments, and I'm basing this on some of the comments I've been reading from different people, but double jeopardy is obviously something that is protected by the Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution, Fifth or Sixth Amendment of the United States Constitution. It's protected in the Bill of Rights. Let's just put it that way. And basically, if you cannot be tried twice for the same crime, but it doesn't mean you can't be charged. So the prosecutors dismissed this without prejudice, meaning that they can revisit arresting him, arraigning him, and putting him on trial when they have more evidence. Because they just said, look, we don't have a body, because they were getting in trouble with the judge who was going to preside over the case for keeping him in custody without giving the defense information, because everything was sealed, right? And so finally, it was either, I believe the judge was either like, you need to let this guy go, or I'm gonna force you to let this guy go, and it's going to be a whole kerfuffle. So they released him, and he has been on his own recognizance since then with their 2 children. Obviously, he releases a statement through his attorney. He releases his statement through his attorney that they are in shock and disbelief, because he was saying that the 2 kids, their 2 children, were waiting for their mother to come home. And that is something that really resonated with me, because I was that kid, right? And I was that kid even though I knew that my father had killed my mother. I knew that, but you don't ever really want to believe that. Thank you so much for the super sticker on the outskirts. And I am the gunpowder. That's so great. Your mother is 92 years old. That's wild. A life well lived, for sure. But I always held out that hope that she would maybe come walking through the doors. And I can remember and I've discussed this before, but on interviews and on my own podcast, and obviously here on YouTube, but the cognitive dissonance that sort of goes hand in hand with finding out this news that your mother's body has been found, that she is indeed dead, and sort of this whole thing where you were hoping that she would just come walking through the door, and you're relieved in a way because what you thought was the truth really is, but also you're completely devastated because what you thought was the truth really is. So it's a weird sort of limbo to live in. And these poor children who are, I believe, very young, they don't have their mother. And now it's confirmed. And I can speak with absolute authority on the subject, because it's like that finality. Like when that sets in, there's like no turning back, right? Like, she's not coming back. And to have that, because you always hold out, even though you realize and you go through all this and your better judgment is like, look, mom's not coming back. Like, mom would never leave for 3 years and never come back. It's that finality. It's that, mind the pun, nail in the coffin, that you're in your psyche. You're like, okay, so she's never coming back. And that's just the way it is. And I remember for the longest time, I even, after my father's trial and everything, I would still think that I would smell my mother's perfume, which was Chanel No. 5. That was her favorite perfume. I would smell it and I would look around and, think that she was there, like around the corner. And I remember being a kid, and I was on a vacation with my foster family, and my experience in foster care was terrible. And as I've talked about a little bit, I'll get into it another time later on down the road. But so they basically took a vacation, and basically they, as a family with my sister, went and had like a vacation, and I was just like left to my own devices, like, okay, well, he's just going to go and run off. So that's what I did. I was in Chautauqua, New York, and I actually quite enjoyed myself, to be honest with you, being by myself. Because I didn't like them. They weren't very nice to me. So I was fine with it. And I just remember seeing this woman riding a bicycle, and she had a blonde ponytail. She was wearing like a jean jumper. And I thought, oh, okay. And it just hit me. And I remember running and chasing after this entity on a bicycle. And obviously then she sort of disappeared in the ether. And not that my mother was a big bike rider or anything like that, but there was a whole thing. And it was, it was something that, that really, oh man, it really, really hit home, with me. And, that thinking back to that very sort of fleeting moment, if you will, of thinking that I saw her and then realizing that it's not the case. And then what these children maybe are going through, it's very similar. I'm so sorry you had a family member that was, whose life was taken. I'm so sorry. I try to tiptoe around these naughty words here on YouTube. Feliz cumpleaños. Muchas gracias, Yanina Cueva. Muchas gracias. Un abrazo. Donna Donald, I just had a comment of mine read on STS, and they release. I just had a comment, Donald. I just had a comment of mine read on at STS, and they will release. Will they release the body of SM in a timely manner, or make it sit in a morgue? Well, who knows? Um, who knows if that will be the case? I would assume that there's been a lot of decomposition uh, that has taken place. And that was one of the things that, like, my mother's body was buried for 20, not really to talk about this, but she was buried in the concrete grave for 25 days, and there was already a significant amount of decomposition that had happened. So I can imagine that that is probably set in for her, and for her remains. So who knows if they're going to do a proper burial, or they'll do. I mean, I'm sure they will do a proper burial. Obviously, will the family have services, all of that, and will the husband be there? And you know, and will he face charges again? And will that, or will they find that it is someone else who was involved? Again, it's all this sort of pattern of closure for these victims and for the families and for the children, because they, and obviously a father and your father committing this crime, if this is the same thing that I went through, I'm going to tell you, my heart breaks for these kids. Oh man, my heart really breaks for them, because they can, it's the quest for answers, as you will. And it it says, don't trigger the host, guys. Yeah, sorry, not to hijack the chat, but happy heavenly birthday to Noreen Boyle. Look at your point, how he's grown into such a fine young man. Well, at least I have a lot of people fooled. No, but thank you for so much, old lady Snoop. I appreciate it. Oh, well, thank you so much, old lady Snoop. Well, I'm glad that you moved away from STS and you came to join us. That's very kind of you. I guess you guys all ping pong back and forth. It's great. It's great. But yeah, it's very, very sad. And for these kids, sorry, I'm trying to read your comments here. Classic case of domestic abuse. When you've lived through it, you can recognize the signs instantly. Yes, they can rearrest it, I'm sure a lot. Yeah, I mean, obviously, or not young at all. Oh, one in college. Okay, great. So the children are older. I guess that would make sense. As someone who doesn't have children, I sort of don't have a very good gauge of them. I'm like, oh yeah, she was in her late 40s, so probably the kids are in college, because normal people have children when they're younger. But anyways, so yeah, okay, so the kids, anyways, then even more so, because they've been living through their sort of formative years of their late teens without a mother, and in the limbo. Like, one of the things I am very grateful about in my situation is the fact that it was over very quickly. There wasn't years and years and years. And I think back to, like, the Delphi case, and Tara Newell and I interviewed Kelsey German on our Survivor Squad podcast, and we were talking about that. And they were in limbo before a suspect, Richard Allen, was arrested last August. And that was a 5.5-year window of, like, not knowing what is going on. Is the case dropped? Do they not have a suspect? And the same thing, this has been 3 years since their mother went missing, and to finally have that closure, because I'm sure that they were hoping for this. It will be interesting to see if they rearrest the husband. And it's just, again, this is all this sort of legacy of violence, and that I hate seeing this as someone who's lived through it, because it devastates the whole family, and to think that even your father can commit such a crime and deny it to his children for so long. It's terrifying. But look, he's not been arrested yet. He hasn't been charged with anything. We'll see how all this plays out. But it is enough to, it's enough to make you lose sleep. And speaking of sleep, Mover Nation, summer is officially over, and the fall is here. The holidays are upon us, and guess what? That means we're all going to be losing sleep all the time, getting ready for the holidays. I know a lot of us are going to be traveling. I've certainly been traveling a lot, and I want to tell you guys about a fantastic product that has helped my sleep immensely, and that is NextEvo Naturals premium CBD. And I'll tell you what, like, my sleep is so important to me because I get very precious little of it these days. And I take their premium nighttime formula CBD from NextEvo Naturals, and it literally knocks me out. I get 8 hours, and that is a rare thing for me. I get 8 hours of sleep, and I'm knocked out. I wake up, my feet hit the floor. I feel completely refreshed and ready to take on the world, ready to create more podcasts, ready to create more YouTube videos. It's amazing. I can't highly recommend it enough. So you can upgrade to better natural solutions from NextEvo Naturals. Go to nextevo.com and use promo code MPT to get 25% off. This is an exclusive offer for Mover Nation. That's 25% off at nextevo.com and use promo code MPT. NextEvo Natural CBD, your source for premium CBD. All right, anyways, there we go. I got through it live on the air. But back to this case. Yeah, this Suzanne Morphew thing, it brings up all of this. And it does, as I say, cause me to lose sleep because I think about, obviously, my mother and that sort of limbo phase where you don't have answers. And that I think is the worst part. And for me, I knew the answers. I was able to find out the answers immediately almost when obviously my father was arrested and obviously my mother's body was found underneath the house where I thought it was. So to be able to get a little bit of closure, I hope that they have peace in a sense that, okay, they know she's not coming back. Now we move on to the next step. But it's a big problem. And again, it makes no sense. I talk about this a lot on this show. The consequences of violence are far-reaching. So many people are affected. Now the community who's also been holding out hope that this woman would return. And I think a lot of people, Colorado is very mountainous. So the population is apparently very, confined. And not that I've spent a lot of time in Colorado, but, Denver is at the foot of all the mountains. And so I don't exactly know where they were, where they lived. They were in Saugatuck County. There was the Colorado Bureau of Investigation in Salida, in Saugatuck County. Anyways, I don't know where that is. I don't know enough about the topography of Colorado other than there's a lot of mountains. And there's a very bad football team there right now. Sadly. A great college team and a bad professional team. But we won't get into that. But yeah, again, it's going to be a process for the whole family. But I want to get to some of your comments here, guys. Let's see. Let's make this a little bigger so I don't have to wear these stupid glasses. Catherine, there is something that won't work for people. There is some things that won't work for people with CPSD. My sleep pattern is more of a motif. That's funny. Colorado looked beautiful when I watched the original The Stand many years ago with Stephen King. Nice to see you all. Happy birthday. Yes, happy birthday to my mother. Thank you so much. And yes, I did love my mom very much. And it is what it is, as they say. We do the best we can, we move forward. And that would be my advice to the Morphew daughters, kids. It's a tragedy for sure. If you wake up early and have a full day and go to bed before midnight, your sleep pattern will be normal again. I do wake up very, very early. I am unfortunately an early to rise. I'm a sometimes late to bed and early to rise person. So usually my sleep window is between midnight and 6 a.m. So, but I'm telling you, the NextEvo Naturals have really, really helped. Yeah, check it out. You get 25% off your entire order too. So check it out. Kathleen Welsh, thank you so much. Your views of the world are what is inspiring others to move past trauma. Well, thank you very much. I really, really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. By the way, just so some of you know, the CBD is not is not psychoactive. So CBD is no sort of. So for those of you, it is derived from the hemp plant, but it is not psychoactive. So you won't be going. "Ugh." You just kind of feel very even keel. It's amazing. And I took it on my flight as well because I was feeling very anxious coming back from Orlando, Florida. Because there was a lot of weather over the Gulf, and the plane was getting kicked around a lot, and it just made me feel quite good. But anyways, so you like the night, so you like the night gummies because I need some sleep. Yes, I very much like the night gummies. Absolutely, absolutely. Marie Hathaway. There was a man's DNA in the house and the car, and on the bike. The DNA was related to a serial tapestry. Interesting. Interesting. Very, very interesting. We can see where you got your good looks from. Yes, I did. I got my good looks from my mother. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. She was a very beautiful woman. Oh, Kim Shorn, I'm so sorry. A coworker's mom has been missing for nearly a year. That's so tragic to hear. Old Lady Snoop, thank you. You said I am not going back. I watched SAS for an hour before your show started. I think it's still probably going on though. I'll see the rest of the letter. Had to be here for this for you. Thank you so much for being here, Old Lady Snoop. I really appreciate it. I really, really appreciate that. Let me see. Comments. Collier, you and Buster Murdaugh are in the same boat. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah, and I can completely relate to Buster's sort of situation because very much so, he now has to deal with his father. And that's why I read the letters from my father on this podcast, by the way, and on the show because it exposes his sort of manipulation and narcissism and gaslighting, et cetera, et cetera. And I mean, it's everything in the world looked very perfect. My parents, had a relationship. This is my mother with my father in on a boat somewhere. It's very, very hard to recognize the signs of domestic mistreatment for the algorithm, as we call it. This is hold on, there's a date here. 19. Okay, so I would have been 5 years old in this photograph. I think that's what it says. No, 4 years old. Sorry. Maybe I should try the reading glasses. Yes, almost 4.5. So that would mean that this other photo you guys asked about, there's no date on that. But yeah, there I am. 4.5 years. My mother was very into sweaters and into jumpers, not jumpers in the Australian sense of sweaters, but jumpers like they're a dress that's like a one-piece thing. I don't know how to. My mom was really into those denim jumpers and jeans. Yeah. This is my mom when she picked up my sister at the airport. This is my adopted sister. And she's obviously crying in the photo. She's very excited to have gotten a little girl. It gave her somebody to dress up because my mother, for those of you that haven't seen the photos, I used to have long hair when I was a child, like in this photo that I shared. And my mom would also put me in kilts. Which, hey, there's nothing wrong with it, but it was kind of funny because I remember when we moved to Mansfield, Ohio, and we had moved from Virginia, and I was sort of an anomaly with this long hair. Even so, I got in trouble for going in the girls' and the boys' restroom, and they were like, "You're a girl, you can't go in there." It was very funny. Oh my, how the world has changed, that's for sure. A conversation between Collier and yeah, I would love to talk to Buster Murdaugh. I just, I think he's very, I think he has a lot. Thank you so much, Rhiannon. I think he has a lot that he's going through for sure, because he's maintains a relationship with his father, which is very, very difficult to maintain. And I believe that Buster Murdaugh hopes that his father is not guilty, that he hopes that there's something to this defense motion to say that the jury was rigged and etc. And this clerk of courts, it was very not funny. It was very interesting because Dr. Kenny Kinsey and I were discussing that at CrimeCon the other day, and just in private, just away from people. But like, I was like, man, what do you think? And he goes, he's like, I pray it's not so. He's like, I don't know her very well, this Miss Becky, but I just pray that this is not the case, that these jurors haven't been tainted, because that would just be so unfortunate. And he was in agreement with me too. Like, why release a book so fast unless you're just trying to be the first to come to market with it, and it's all a money grab, which is unfortunately, hopefully it doesn't affect that case at all. But we shall see. We shall see. Dawn so true. I hate that those daughters. I hate those daughters. They never looked for her. They never went to any vigils for her, but they took tons of party pics, partying in the islands. Oh, really? So the daughters weren't actively looking for their mother. That's interesting. Wow, that's wild. Hugs to you too, sweetie. I'm sorry you had no parents. Yeah, I'm sorry too, Blackwater. There's a lot of people moving past trauma here. A lot of people. Well, now I see why you guys come to the channel, and hopefully my insight helps. Hopefully it really is helping. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Buster trusts himself. That's interesting. Man, we're talking about Buster Murdaugh, by the way. I don't know if Buster Murdaugh trusts himself or not, because he I think his whole world has been turned upside down, and he's been sort of, you can kind of gaslight yourself too and convince yourself that things don't happen as well. So I'm sure he's just completely twisted upside down. And he has a very, unlike myself growing up, he has it appears to be a very tight familial relationship with the aunts and the uncles, and I mean, obviously his father's brothers. And so he obviously has this community that's around him, and this family. So I'm sure he's just all kinds of twisted. When I think, it's very interesting, because when I think back about the whole way that my entire situation played out, which, again, I would not wish on anyone. I would not wish on anybody what I had to go through. But I'll tell you what, I am so glad that my family literally removed themselves immediately, and I was in a very bad foster care situation. That I got the hell out of there as fast as possible. It took a year, but and it was finally adopted, and just wanted to just move on, because all of those people sort of extricated, would that be the right word? Or they expatriated me, that's for sure. But they extricated themselves from my life, and then I didn't have to deal with them again. I mean, unless I wanted to. I mean, I tried to deal with them. I tried to bring them into my life, and I tried to bring them into a pattern of forgiveness and hope, and try to have some sort of relationship with them. But they were so unwilling that I was just like, okay, whatever. And I think it allowed me to form my own opinions of my own reality, and not have anyone. I mean, my father was obviously trying to manipulate that, but I didn't ever have any of that outside influence on me in a lot of ways with the family. So again, with Buster Murdaugh, I feel like that situation is something that is very, that is really, it's very, very, very unfortunate. That's for sure. I just joined. Happy heavenly birthday to your mama. How old would she be? She would come out of the grave and slit my throat if I said how old she was. But she would still be in her 70s. By the way, I never found, yes, denim jumpers are back. Yes, I have been seeing people wear denim jumpers recently, so that's good. Thank you so much, AJ McCarthy. I think I think I look just like my mother. Buster Murdaugh on the outskirts. The name Buster makes me think of that PBS show Arthur. My mother loved the movie Arthur, by the way. The one with why is this? I can see him in my line of view. British actor from way, way back in the day. Russell Brand also played Arthur, but we won't talk about that. Oh man, what is his name? She loved the movie Arthur, though. And Crocodile Dundee was also one of her favorites as well. Dudley Moore, thank you so much, Harry Potter's Beard. By the way, Harry Potter's Beard, are you the person that lives in Culver City that emailed me? There was a Hogwarts reference in that email. Dudley Moore, yes, Dudley Moore, and Dudley Moore was in something else too. Thank you so much, Catherine Billinghurst, for saying that. I really appreciate it. Arthur the Drinker, Dudley Moore, Dudley Moore, Dudley Moore. Yes, Dudley Moore, Dudley Moore. Everybody's jumping in on it. Sometimes when hardship happens, people's true colors are revealed. Absolutely. Absolutely. Susan McGregor says, happy birthday to your mama. She was around my mom and dad's age. I grew up in Lima, Ohio, and remember the murder case of your mom so well. Well, Lima. Yeah. Lima, Ohio, off the I-71. Well, thank you for commenting. I really appreciate it. Kathleen Welsh, George, Susan, and their son seem to be in the best case scenario, with George being a straight shooter. Yes, as you saw that in the film. Yes, George, my adopted father is definitely a straight shooter for sure. Calls a spade a spade. He sent me a photo, by the way, of all his prize-winning honey, which is like, it was crazy. There was so much honey. Let me see if I can find it here. He sent it yesterday. Let me see. It was hilarious. He's so, yep, here we go. There is the honey. Look at all that honey. All that honey's for sale. I should sell it here on the channel. He sent me the honey and I thought it was pretty funny. Like lots of, look at those cute little jars all lined up there. Let's get in focus. Yeah, there we go. Gotta love the iPhone. Yeah, so honey, his prize winning blue ribbon honey. And yeah. Harry Potter's Beard. Oh no, I'm from Scotland, land of the kilt. Land of the kilt. Got it. Thank you so much. Liza Minnelli. Yeah, my mom loved Liza Minnelli as well. She was, and then I was listening to, I don't know, I was going through like old records, and like Nana Mouskouri was somebody that she listened to as well. I always forget Dudley Moore's name too. He was in 10 with the model. Oh yeah, I guess he was. Oh, thank you so much. Happy birthday to a great mom and a great son. My mother also, my mom liked Sean Connery as well. Yes, she did. Yes, she did, because she liked Sean Connery, so that was the only reason why I was allowed to watch The Highlander, which absolutely terrified me as a child, by the way. The Highlander movies with the swords, and I was also into swords and things. Yeah. If anyone is an Outlander fan, they won't be returning until they won't be returning in October for the next season, and we have to wait. Oh, that's a shame. I've never watched Outlander, but my former one of my apartment building friends looks just like the guy from Outlander, and I was like, "Is that Max?" It's very funny. My grand loved Nana Mouskouri. Yeah, I think you did it. I think you did a good job of spelling her name. Yeah, I think she's Greek. So that sounds familiar. Who doesn't love Sean Connery? Yes. And Bruce Willis, by the way, is now a grandfather, it said, which that breaks my heart too. Die Hard was also one of the movies that my mother absolutely loved, and she let me watch that, and that was like the first real like violent movie that I ever watched that I was allowed to like watch. Yeah, it was good. I bet you would buy every damn drop of that honey. I'll bet we would try every damn hot a drop of that honey if believe you. Yeah, okay, I should sell the honey then. There we go. We'll sell some honey. I'll tell him right now. I have no skills whatsoever. I fret about using Apple products. Apple products are so simple. This is turning into a whole other conversation. Does my brother still live in Ohio? Yes, my brother does live in Ohio. My brother just had his fourth son. I mean, he didn't have it, but his wife had it. But you know what I mean. So I welcomed a new nephew last week, and I talked about it on the show. My brother, my brother had a new, another, like a five nephews technically, because my half sister has a son as well. But yeah, so I have a lot of nephews floating around. I want a niece, but I think they're done having children, which is a good thing for sure. 4 kids is a lot of kids and boys. Oy vey. I always joke that it'll be Uncle Collier will be the one to bail one of them out of jail and not tell my brother and his wife. I'll be like, your secret's safe with me, kids. Just kidding. Just kidding. I mean, maybe not. I don't know. All right. I don't even remember what I was talking about. Everybody is talking about everybody is very excited about the honey. 1 kid is a lot of kids. Yes, that is what uncles are for. Absolutely. We're keeping you up. Car the hall year. Car the hall year. From Ohio, suburb of Cleveland, Twinsburg, Ohio. We love our fall here, pumpkins and honey. Oh yeah, that is one of the things I do miss in Los Angeles. And then I just got a notification that Tara Newell and I will be going to Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios because she got tickets hooked up. Very excited about that. You will see Instagram posts because that is the trade that we will do. Very excited about that. Halloween Horror Nights. And by the way, so I have several friends that all got COVID or coronavirus COVID at, I don't know if I can say that, it'll be dinged by YouTube. They all got COVID at CrimeCon. So I'm very happy that I have not come down with COVID. Knock on wood. I am vaccinated. I have the vaccine, the 2-shot vaccine, the Moderna, and the booster. So, but I have not gotten one since 2021 because I was like, I'm done. Like I'm done with that. I have contributed. I must be the only person who can't stand honey. Oh, that is odd. Honey is really good for you. Anti-inflammatory, very, very good. Sorry, talk to text messed up your name. That's okay, Alex. Mary Alice Haas. That is okay. Wow. Oh, wow. A coworker friend is going to Halloween Horror Nights. Yes, Lena, beautiful. We are very excited. Yes, I should, Harry Potter's beard, I should maybe refer to it as the Rona. That's what I should refer to it as. I am lucky as well. Bees are amazing. Sealed honey will last literally forever. That's good to know. So when I lived in, now to get onto a honey conversation, when I lived on the east side of Los Angeles, right outside downtown, my neighbors all had beehives in their backyards. It was a predominantly Mexican neighborhood. Mexican neighborhood. And they all the little cottage industry beekeepers. It was very cool because I was like, where are all these bees coming from? Then I saw they had the hives in the backyard. They were harvesting honey. I was like, that's pretty cool. I suppose I could have a hive on my deck. That might be kind of fun. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. I should sell honey. So anyways, do me a favor. Oh yes, Catherine Billinghurst. Yes, Kimberlea also got sick as well. I wasn't going to give up that business. I didn't know that. I just didn't want to share. Yeah, a lot of people came down with the Rona at CrimeCon apparently. So, I had a feeling had a feeling. I was like, I don't know. Tina Luffman, you said I have a fear of bees. I'm going to tell you something. So, and I don't know if I talked about this before, but bees will not attack you. Like bees will not attack you. They don't want to attack you because if they sting you, they lose their life. So their inclination is to not attack you unless you threaten them. Then they will attack you, or you threaten the hive or the colony or the queen. They don't like that. And if you wear black, they often will be around you, and they're sending out little sensors and buzzers through a little antenna, communicating with one another, because black means bear, black bear, because black bear steals the hive and the honey, etc., etc. So they don't like that. So just know that if you wear black, they'll take an interest in you, but they're not going to sting you unless you try to hit them, or you act aggressively, or you go towards the hive. They're going to leave you alone. But black attracts them to you for sure, and they're always checking you out. Now, don't get that confused with yellow jackets. And I, as a child, first week in Ohio, went on a nature hike with my I guess it would have been first grade or kindergarten class. I don't know what, I was 5. So were you in first grade at that time? And it was like one of the first or last days of school. And we went on a nature hike, and I wore penny loafers. My mother used to dress me in penny loafers. So I wore those a lot as a child. And we were on the nature hike. I was walking in penny loafers. Makes no sense. And I stuck my foot in a hole, and that hole ended up being a yellow jacket's nest, and it stung my entire class and school and all the kids and all the teachers and even parents. And it was the most embarrassing thing that ever happened. And my friends still remind me of this to this day, when I stepped in the yellow jacket's nest, which was a hole in the ground. But yellow jackets are not bees. They look like bees, but they're actually wasps. And that's why they sting you, and they can sting you multiple times because they're wasps. So stay away from wasps. That's for sure. Here we go. Only female bees have stingers. Only 50% of bee population can sting. That's good to know. I did not know that. Here we are. Interesting facts about it. You remember you talking about that. Also, I'm allergic to a yellow jacket. Allergic in a yellow jacket got me bad. Oh, I'm so sorry. That is terrible. I wonder if yellow jackets create allergies with their venom, like bees do. My ex-mate bees, man, he runs faster than me, and I got stung, and I'm allergic. I'm so sorry. I am the gunpowder. Let's all protect the bees. They pollinate our plants for food. Wasps suck, but they do eat spiders. Yes, bees are very, very, very important. Don't step on bees. Don't hurt bees. They are very important for our food supply, for sure. The one that stung me was on my purse, which was black. I was adjusting my purse. Okay, well, there you go. It was black. It saw it, and it thought bear. Black means bear to bees. We had a leaf cutter bees getting into our house. They bite and sting. Leaf cutter bees. I've never heard of leaf cutter bees. I will have to go down the Google rabbit hole for that. Anyways, Mover Nation, thank you all so much for tuning in. It is my mother's birthday, as I said, and I appreciate all of you being here and supporting the channel. As you know, all of this started because of her. So I'm grateful that you all could be here. I want to say a big shout out to all my channel members, all my Patreon members, channel members and Patreon members. This weekend, Saturday, September 30th, live meet and greet, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern time. I will put that in both the Patreon and the membership section here on YouTube, because we do live meet and greets where you guys can talk to me, and you guys can talk. Most of you guys end up talking to one another. I just kind of sit back and you guys have conversations, much like you do here, and it's great. And you guys can see each other and interact, and it's very, very cool and a lot of fun. That was exclusively for my channel members and my Patreon supporters, and I want to say thank you so much. Please, if you would not forget, please remember to like and subscribe. Click the alert bell if you want to get notified about more wonderful lives just like this. And normally there is more of a topic. Today was a little more often. It's my mother's birthday. I really wanted to just kind of share that with you guys. I'm gonna by the way, check out new episodes of Survivor Squad podcast are out today and tomorrow, and it is my dear friend Amy Chesler, a friend of our show, a friend of mine and Tara's. She also lost her mother. Her mother was murdered on September 25th, which is actually National Murder Victims Day in the United States. And so we made her episode part of this week and released it obviously on my mother's birthday, because Amy and I have that in common, unfortunately. We both lost our mothers, and it was a very tragic, obviously, situation. And so please check out that episode of Survivor Squad wherever you get your podcasts from. If you are listening to this podcast, you can find it on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from. On that note, Mover Nation, I'm Collier Landry, and this is Moving Past Trauma. Thanks, y'all.
This podcast is made possible by support from listeners just like you. For exclusive content around this podcast, please consider supporting me via Patreon by going to collierlandry.com/support. Please subscribe via Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts from, and please leave us a 5-star review. If you want to see video episodes of this podcast, please check out my YouTube channel at youtube.com/collierlandry. You can find links to additional resources in the show notes of today's episode. This podcast is a production of Don't Touch My Radio. Copyright Collier Landry.